Hello drone video fans, and welcome to this short video on the Lampson Reservoir of Ashtabula County. This reservoir was originally built to furnish nearby Jefferson, Ohio with water. However, after water pipes were run to Lake Erie, property was given to Ashtabula County. The county kept the property for 50 years, but couldn't afford to restore the reservoir dam, which would have cost $1 million. So the site was pretty much kept off limits to the public. The Western Reserve Land Conservancy bought the land and removed the dam to declassify the area and drained it from its 26-acre size down to its current 10-acre size. Back in 2012, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Wildlife Division stocked this pond with fish and ducks and little duck boxes, which we'll see on the lake as I go around. In 2013, the ownership was then transferred back to Ashtabula County Metro Parks, and they had great plans to add additional fishing, hunting, and hiking trails, as well as improved parking. But lack of funding has sort of prevented any of that from happening, so the area pretty much stays as it was back in 2013. So here you see me flying the X380, and we're just kind of cruising around over the reservoir, looking at the various forms of algae bloom. Some of it is green, some of it is different color. I don't know if some of it is seaweed or algae. I'm not particularly a water botanist to know all the different varieties. I was also, kind of interested to see if I could see any fish. I would suspect the things that they would put in here would be like crappie or sunfish or bluegill or stuff like that, but I didn't see anything. Of course, it'd be pretty hard to see on a little 7-inch diversity monitor, which is what I'm using to watch this. At this point, you can see the props in the top of my video here. I'm pretty much flying the XK380 at full forward pitch, full speed, and I have the camera tilted down to try to keep the props out of the view. But when you make a sharp banking turn, which I do right here, and the camera gimbal runs up to its stops, you get a little shake, which you saw right there. So that's just another typical problem with the XK gimbal. There's the parking lot with me standing between the white car and the silver car, and all the time I was flying, I was talking with this gal that was in there on her lunch break, and just came down here to have a little peace and quiet on her lunch. So we climbed to about 100 feet altitude here, just to kind of get an idea of what the area is like, and I hit the panorama button on the XK transmitter and just let it slowly rotate around. Again, the curvature that you're seeing on the horizon is caused by the wide-angle lens on the Gitup Git2 action camera. It's a 170-degree lens, which I hope to replace in the next week or two with a 72-degree lens, which should flatten that right out and get rid of the fisheye effect. That's what they refer to that curvature of the horizon as, is the fisheye effect. So as we turn around here, we're going to drop altitude, and when you lose altitude, you never want to stay in the same place, because you'll enter into your own prop wash, and it'll enter what they call vortex ring state, and it'll drop out of the sky. So we're backing up as we drop down. I wanted to get down to about 5 feet above the water surface. I thought, if I'm going to be able to see anything, any fish or any life forms, I need it to be within about 5 feet of the surface. So that's where we're about here, about 5 feet, and gives you a closer look of some of the algae and the various plant life. And I kind of going slowly out here at first out over the lake, and again I'm just looking at a small 7-inch screen on my transmitter to see if I can see any fish, which is kind of a mission impossible. So after looking and not seeing anything, I saw in the distance one of those duck boxes that they installed, and kind of a strange name for them. Because I didn't see any ducks on the pond, but what I did see was a lot of swallows of some variety, and they swoop along right at the surface of the lake and pick off bugs left and right. And I thought, well, maybe they're using this for a home, and if I hover here for a long enough period, I might see one come back and pop inside that little hole and maybe feed some youngsters on the inside or something. And so I hovered here for a while to see if I could catch some of those swallows coming back, because they were flying back and forth across the lake. But alas, none of them. I think maybe they might have been afraid of the noise of the quad. So I turned around and decided, well, I might as well head back to the ranch, and took one more look here at some of the variety of algae that's in bloom. And we're heading back now towards the parking lot. And since I was talking to that gal next to me, I decided instead of pulling straight in, I'd execute a 180 and back it in, sort of like you're backing your car into a parking spot. So we watch this little maneuver here, do a 180 and back it up into the area where we're going to land. This is a shoot that we just did on the way back from shooting a couple of bridges, and it was a fun shoot, something I hadn't planned, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. Hope you learned something and enjoyed the video. If you're out this way, stop by and take a look at the Lampson Reservoir.